the vision of the 4 cups. And the Lord took a rope, and then the Lord spread a net over the earth and spoke, "Now it is the time that I will take up the harvest of the earth, and they will hear my word and understand it." And a bird was flying in the heavens and called in an unintelligible language. And there came thunder and lightning off the bird, and so it was the bird of the Lord. And there were faces in the heavens. And a woman with the head of a serpent and the head of a lion and the head of a human came forward, and she spread a white powder over the earth as a plague of nettles, and the earth got purified again. And the woman spoke, "Now the canon has been broken, the yoke resting on the saints for so long. And many seals got opened, and many animals fell in the sea, and the waves were high and savage." And the woman spoke again, while a poison came out of the mouth of the serpent to purify the earth once again. And the woman took a cup and said, "From 4 cups of the Lord the saints will drink to understand the Lord pure, and to have their names recorded in the book of life." And when she poured out the first cup over the earth, there was a screaming, and after that, a great silence. And from the earth, and from under the earth, an orange dragon appeared, and his power was great. And he roared to the saints who were dwelling in the city, and he dragged some of them out of the city and spoke, "The night of Leviathan has come. Leviathan won't die." But the Lord took a fire and devoured the orange dragon with it. And there was a weeping in the hell, in the innermost part of the earth. And the Lord spoke, "In Sheol I opened gates, and I set captives free. For Leviathan the master has been delivered to the lake of fire, to fade in hail and sulfur to all eternities. Never shall Leviathan the master terrorize the earth any more. I have stolen from the earth and the world of sin its master to all his shameful lusts." And after these words had been spoken, a hard and heavy door closed, and spirits fell from paradise, and the heavens curled up like scrolls, while the earth was shivering. And again the woman spoke, and poured the second cup out over the earth. And this cup was red and like the screaming of a woman. And again faces appeared in the heavens, and someone was spitting on the earth. Then there was a huge screaming like there was never before, and like there would never be again. And the ships of the earth began to rot and to fade, and the sea had to make space for the paradise. And the Lord spoke to Mammon, "O you merchant and rich lord of the earth, your master has fallen, and you will fall as well, because the Lord has established the beginning and the end of your times. And see, you will go into chains and handcuffs and fetters, and you will visit the place which the Lord has destined for you for this hour." And the 2 angels grasped the Mammon and cast him into the sea which was left behind, and the sea flooded the paradise to become rivers. And the Lord spoke to the sea, "I set you free." And a serpent of gigantic size fell from the heavens into the sea, and the angels who were locked up in the sea and under the sea became free. Then the woman took the 3rd cup, and the heavens became black, while she poured the poison over the earth. And shortly after that she poured the 4th cup over the earth, which was like red salt, and faces and wheels appeared in the heavens, and the spirits of seas came to the heavens, and all whose names were recorded in the book of life found entrance. Those whose names weren't recorded were driven back to the seas of the earth and the seas below the earth. And the Lord spoke with loud voice, "Now the 4 cups have been poured out over the earth. Take the harvest up." And a great net was spread over the earth, and many disciples got accepted in the heavens. And the Lord spoke again, "For this hour I have spared the pools of heaven." And the Lord opened the doors of the heavenly barns and storages, and a seething mass came to all sides of the earth. And the dragons of the sea screamed to the gates of heaven, but these stayed locked, because the Lord had come with his judgment. Also women came from the seas and stretched out to the gates of heaven, but no one opened for them, because the Lord had come with his judgment. And they carried a strange seal on their foreheads, and strange signs on their hands. And a loud weeping rose up, but the Lord wouldn't open the doors. And the women clothed themselves like poor women, and began to knock on the gates of heaven, and some dressed up like old women. But the Lord wouldn't open for them. So was the judgment upon the rich and those who had hung on to the lust of the world. and they began to beg and to whine if the Lord would record their names in the book of life, but the Lord didn't listen to them. And so it was, the Lord being stubborn. And the women took some anointed ones who weren't from the Lord, but the Lord devoured them by fire. And some of the women who were left took off their clothes and tried to seduce the Lord, but the fire of the Lord came in huge, seething wrath upon them, and their eyes melted in their sockets. And the last woman who was left was the queen of sharks, and she was as a skeleton, and she was also called a witch. And she asked the Lord for access, and her power was so big that if it was possible, she would be able to devour the Lord, but by his cup she could not, and she had to stay at a distance. And even the glorified angels didn't dare to speak her name, and they didn't bring a judgment on her. They kept their mouths locked, while the Lord took the book of life, which changed into a sword. And thus the Lord had a fight against her of 1,000 days and 1,000 nights. And after this battle, the Lord took her up and threw her into the lake of fire. And the Prometheus, the Hades, the Tantalus, and the Atlas had to give up their souls. And so the Lord sits on the horse of the morning, waging war in holiness. And his women follow him, those who carry the lusts of the cross and the lusts of ice and loneliness. And the Lord has the rule over saints to keep and lead them in the right paths of the eternal life. But there are many eternities, and the Lord has many right paths. This is how he keeps the sheep separated from the goats, the chickens from the pigs, and the oxen from the swines. The Lord knows them all and sees if their names are recorded in the book of life. Therefore, when you have tested the spirits, test them by the sword which the Lord has given to you, the book of life. The book of life to all eternities. That is why it is, praised is the Lord, who brought the book of life to those who are his, by Christ the crucified, to a holy Jacob's ladder to the heavens. See therefore that you will not sin, for the Lord will purify his book. And to me there came a fire, and a ray of lightning with thunder, and the Lord spoke. Write those things down, so your heart will be purified, and you will not be responsible for the things which are to happen on earth. Be clean of all blood and come higher. And I saw a door open from which light and lightning came forward, and a dove appeared with the glorified Christ. And I went inside through the door, and in front of me there was a table with meat. And the Lord spoke, Eat, for this is the meat of the heavens. And I ate, and the dove of the heaven descended on me. And the Lord spoke, You have to prophesy much, for I will come soon. And the Lord gave me a flag and a pencil, and the pencil got wings and began to bleed. And the Lord spoke, This then is the blood of Christ and the blood of the Spirit. Open your mouth, and your words will be pure. And I opened my mouth, but no words came forth from me. I had to write, and the paper on which I was writing started to bleed. And the Lord spoke, This is the blood of the Lord and of his faithful prophets. And I began to prophesy on paper, and I wrote down the tongues of the Lord. But then the Lord took the paper and sealed it. The Lord spoke, The book of blood will be opened in a later period. Now then, and the Lord threw the bleeding book in the air, and it flew away as a bird. And the Lord spoke to me, Those who stand in the book of life have eternal life, but those who are in the book of blood have the access to the eternities of the cross. But those who aren't signed up in the book of blood, they will stay outside, and they will suffer through the fourth death.